had I a golden thread and needles so fine, I'd weave a magic strand of rainbow design, of rainbow design. Far over the water I'd reach my magic band to every human being, so they would understand, so they'd understand.
But a Barlow knife, it's a hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times everywhere. It's a hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times everywhere. In 19 and 15 we heard it said, move to cotton country and get ahead. It's a hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times everywhere. It's a hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times everywhere. From Gilmer to Bartow's a long, long way, down Carter K by Ellie J. It's a hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times everywhere. It's a hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times, cotton mill girls, it's a hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times everywhere. Us kids work 12 hours a day for 14 cents of ATCO pay. It's hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times everywhere. Hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times everywhere. On the spinning room wall and pickle my bones in alcohol. It's a hard time everywhere. Hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times, cotton mill girls, hard times everywhere.
I should explain that you've been listening to Hedy West, and I knew her back when she was a little girl. I cruised through Oglethorpe, Georgia, where her father was teaching at the time.
You sang a concert.
Yeah, I sang for the students down there. Now she's traveling all around, but and we don't get to see each other very often, and our paths are crossing, and I want to hear some songs she's singing. What can I do that will match that? I know, since that song's from old times, here's still older. In the year of 1801, Peg and all. In the year of 1801, Peg and all. In the year of 1801, pegging shoes was all I'd done. Hand me down my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all. In the year of 1802, Peg and all. In the year of 1802, Peg and all. In the year of 1802, pegging shoes was all I'd do. Hand me down my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all. In the year of 1803, Peg and all. In the year of 1803, Peg and all. In the year of 1803, pegging shoes was all you'd see. Hand me down my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all. In the year of 1804, pegging all. In the year of 1804, pegging all. In the year of 1804, I said I'd peg them shoes no more. Throw away my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all. They've invented a new machine, pegging all. They've invented a new machine, pegging all. They've invented a new machine, prettiest thing you ever seen. Throw away my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all. Makes 100 pairs to my one, pegging all. Makes 100 pairs to my one, pegging all. Makes 100 pairs to my one, pegging shoes, it ain't no fun. Throw away my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all. The reason, Hedy, I was thinking of singing some of these old-time songs is that even though I'm old enough to be your father, we got two friends who are going to come here. You and I haven't seen them in quite some time, I think since one of these folk festivals. And they're the granddaddies. They are both wonderful, lovable people, although one comes from completely different background than the other. I've always thought of them as the same kind of basically generous-hearted souls who love to make music and like people, and they're both getting on in years. Mississippi John Hurt must be about 72 or 73. He was living down in the town of Avalon, Mississippi. All his life he lived there. Way back in the 1920s, two fellows from the north came through, said they were looking for talent to record. And he went up to Memphis, made a record, made 4 records, I guess. And those records are collector's items. For 35 years, people all around the United States listened to the records of Mississippi John Hurt and said, gee, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could actually hear him? Till about 2-3 years ago, some young people went down and said, let's see if he's still alive. Sure enough, there he was, still sitting in Avalon, Mississippi. And since then, Mississippi John Hurt has become famous traveling around to colleges and a lot of folk festivals. And the other person, and he's going to be here. And also on the program will be a man of similar age whom I first met, about 25 years ago when I was first learning to pick a banjo. And someone said, you should hear Paul Cadwell. He plays some kind of banjo that you've never heard, the way the banjo used to be played. So I asked Paul Cadwell to come out too. Paul Cadwell's a city man like me. I think he worked as a lawyer for a while. I don't know what else he's worked at in his life. But he plays this very delicate kind of gut string banjo, not steel string. I guess
what's sometimes called a guitar style, yes?
Well, we shall hear soon. As a matter of fact, we'll pour out the coffee and they will join us. Well, friends, here we all are. Come from different corners of the earth. That's right. Over at the far left, as you see it, is Mr. John Hurt, known as Mississippi John Hurt, whose home is in Grenada, Mississippi, and Miss Hedy West, who started off in the state of Georgia, but now has traveled so much that when I asked her her address, she says, I'm just transient. Just got back from Europe and going there again?
Yes.
Right. And at my left is Mr. Paul Cadwell, banjo picker extraordinary. Paul, do you remember when we first met? You came down to the basement apartment where I was living on McDougal Street,
right.
And played me some of the old-fashioned ragtime tunes and cakewalks from around the turn of the century on a banjo that didn't have steel strings, had them made of gut, but now I understand you use nylon, is that right?
Nylon strings now, that's right.
Aren't they kind of expensive?
No, they're not, because I use fish line, and they cost about 2 or 3 cents a piece. And they're the same as you'd pay 30 cents for in a store, I think, for nylon.
How do you know that they're the right size?
Well, micrometer, the 10-pound strength is just about
You mean
the
for a 10-pound fish?
right diameter for for a first and fifth string.
And then a 15-pound fish for the second string?
That's
and
right.
third? Well, friends, we're going to go around the circle and each of us play some music for you, and we'll see what happens. Paul, you start off. I don't know what you want to play, but all I know is that every time I've heard you play, it's fantastic to me.
Well, around the turn of the century, they built about 100 cakewalks, and this is the second one that was written Georgia Camp Meeting.
Has anybody here actually ever seen a cakewalk? Have you ever seen?
Yes, we used to have cakewalks in grammar school. Walk around the circle and pay a quarter and win a cake, possibly.
Right.
Is that the way it worked?
We drew a number.
Right.
Cake in the middle of the floor?
Not always. No, the cake on the side where you pay your
Oh.
money and you get a coupon and a number. And on the floor, the circle is marked off in numbers, and the number where you stop.
I see.
Was that really used to accompany a cakewalk?
Well, the cakewalk that I knew about, and I saw them at the end of the steel pier down in Atlantic City, around about the turn of the century, a little bit after, and they'd have a pair of Negroes, man and a girl, and they would dress up real fine. And
Top hats and all?
Yes, top hats and all, and they would strut. And then another pair would come out, and there'd be about 5 or 6 pairs, and then the audience, which would be oftentimes several thousand people, would tell by their applause. The applause meter would show which one had received the greatest amount of applause, and that one would take the cake. It was a strut.
How do you strut?
Strutting walk. Oh, real black and...
They win the prize for the best strutter?
The best, yeah.
My guess is that like a lot of popular things in popular music, it was an old country custom which suddenly had a burst of popularity in the cities, through the north and so on. Maybe it had been done for generations in some little country town, but all of a sudden it gets known, just the way calypso suddenly becomes known. A few years later, then it's something else. Well, it's like this song that old Hedy Ledbetter learned from some prisoners, and it was a real work song. But most people, when they heard it on the radio, it was just another hit song. Rock Island line, it is a mighty good road. The Rock Island Line, it is the road to ride. Oh, the Rock Island Line, it is a mighty good road. Well, if you want to ride, you got to ride it like you find it. Get your ticket at the station for the Rock Island Line. I may be right and I may be wrong. I know you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. Oh, the Rock Island Line, it is a mighty good road. The Rock Island Line, it is a road to ride. The Rock Island Line, it is a mighty good road. Well, if you want to ride, you got to ride it like you find it. Get your ticket at the station, the Rock Island Line. To save our sin, glory to God, we're gonna need him again. Oh, the Rock Island Line, it is a mighty good road. The Rock Island Line, it is a road to ride. Oh, the Rock Island Line, it is a mighty good road. Well, if you want to ride, you got to ride it like you find it. Get your ticket at the station, the Rock Island Line. And now, somewhere there along the Rock Island Line were a batch of men actually working. But it's the kids that heard it on the radio didn't ever think of it. It was another pop song. We're going around the circle, Hedy.
It's my turn.
Your turn.
Well, I've been trying to decide whether to sing a modern German song, which isn't what I usually sing, or whether to sing a traditional song from East Kentucky using an East Kentucky traditional style of playing the banjo. I have to tune up quick if I can.
Okay.
You can talk and don't waste time while I do if you like.
I might say that Hedy learned a lot of these songs from her family. Her father, Don West, is not only a teacher, but a poet, a writer. And since this is an East Kentucky song, I might mention that he was an organizer of the coal mines there. Back 30 years ago, 35 years ago in East Kentucky.
This is a song from the coal mining region. I learned it about a year ago in Hippo, Kentucky. It's a very tiny little town. From a man who's lived on PA, that's public assistance, now for about 7 years. He's been too poor to buy a banjo, but he borrowed mine and played this song for me. It's one of the many American murder ballads. It's Little Sadie. It's both sometimes found in Negro and white tradition. And this is the way Hobart Bailey played the banjo.
Read them to me. Says I left from the train
the train, all painted in black, so they arrested me and they taken me back. I got up early next morning, put on my boots. I got up early next morning, put on my boots, said they sent me down to Frankfurt to wear the striped suit. So there's little Sadie.
That's a real thing. Mississippi John, it's your turn.
My turn. Well, this is a religious song, and it's so true. It's true. And I always like to play religious songs, especially when you know the truth. This is, you got to walk that lonesome valley, you know.
Yes.
You got to walk it for yourself. Can't nobody walk it for you. This valley, I guess you know what valley I'm talking about. Can't nobody walk it for you. Got to walk it for yourself. That's right. For yourself, ain't nobody here can walk it for you. You got to walk the Red Valley for yourself. My mother had to walk that lonesome valley. Well, she had to walk it for herself. It's nobody here could walk it for her. Yeah, she had to walk the Red Valley for herself. Oh yeah, she got to walk that lonesome valley. Well, you got to walk it for yourself. There's nobody here can walk it for you. You got to walk. My father had to walk that lonesome valley. He had to walk it for himself. There's nobody here can walk it for him. He had to walk. Oh, Jesus had to walk that lonesome valley. He had to walk it for himself. There's nobody here could walk it for him. He had to walk the Red Valley for himself. You got to walk that lonesome valley. Well, you got to walk it for yourself. It's nobody here can walk it for you. You got to walk the Red Valley for yourself.
Very nice.
Beautiful, beautiful. It's one of my favorite songs, too. I've sung it 3 times on this program.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, well, now we have to go around the circle again. That's too short. You have to play another one, Paul.
Well, I might play a ragtime piece written by Paul Eno, ragtime episode.
Wow, my gosh.
Very good.
When were these virtuoso pieces made up?
About the first decade in the century.
Is that when you were studying how to play the banjo?
Yes.
Who did you study with?
I studied with Fred Van Epps.
Oh, the famous master. He recorded for Victor back in that.
Yes, he did, and he made cylinder records for Edison ahead of that.
You told me that Fred Van Epps was the one who made this banjo?
Yes, he did. He lived to quite an age. He lived to be past 80, and this is one of the last ones that he made in '51.
Now, you yourself, as I understand it, never became a professional musician. You were a lawyer for a while, was it?
Yeah.
And done other things also?
Yes, I packed cigar leaf tobacco upstate New York. I was a dirt farmer for a while. I helped around an information service for lawyers. I worked for did legal work for the Veterans Administration, various things like
Well,
that.
I got a song for lawyers. I got a song for lawyers, since we're going around the circle. The song was written by a lawyer. Now, in folk songs, often lawyers don't get very complimentary wording. In fact, it's usually insults is all lawyers seem to get out of folk songs. But this song was written, it's, I guess you'd call it a Christmas carol, or maybe not, may not be in exact right season for it, but it's a favorite song of mine. And the lawyer who wrote it was living in France of Louis XIV. And he looked around and saw all the rich people there, and it got him thinking. The winter season of the year, when to this world our Lord was born, the ox and donkey, so they say, did keep his holy presence warm. How many oxen and donkeys now, if they were there, would do the same? How many oxen and donkeys you know at such a time would do the same? When first unto these humble beasts appeared our Lord, so mild and sweet, with joy they knelt before his grace and gently kissed his tiny feet. How many oxen and donkeys now dressed in ermine, silk and such. How many oxen and donkeys you know at such a time would do as much? Your turn, Hedy.
Well, I'll play the German song I was telling you about. You know, in Germany, the country has been so industrialized and so urbanized for so long, there isn't a folk tradition, much of one, except in the far east left, the far east of Germany. But there is a very rich tradition of political cabaret. And this is a cabaret song written by a man who was born in Hamburg, but who defected from the west and went to the east, to East Berlin. It's a song about America, a song about the American postman William Moore, who went to the south on a tour carrying a sign on his back to end segregation. Follows him each day of the week. On Sunday he rested. On Monday he said to his wife, "I don't want to be a postman any longer." Tuesday he went into the train and people asked him what his sign was about. He told them. On Wednesday he went into Alabama and it was a long walk and his feet were hurting. On Thursday the sheriff stopped him and said, "What do you want to mess around with the niggers for?" And on Friday a dog ran after him and wanted to be his friend. They went home together. On Saturday, he stopped and a white lady came out of her house and secretly said to him, "I agree with you." And on Sunday, he lay in the grass with 3 bullet holes through his head. And the last line is, he died quite alone, but that's the next to last line. And the last line is, but he doesn't remain alone. It's a very, very hopeful song. Sonntag, da ruhte William Elmore von seiner Arbeit aus. War ein armer Briefträger, nur in Baltimore stand sein Haus. Black and white, unite, unite, schrieb auf ein Schild. White and black, die Schranken weg, und ging ganz allein. Montag, ein Tag in Baltimore, sprach zu seiner Frau. Ich will nicht länger Briefträger sein, ich geh nach Süden auf Tour. Black and white, unite, unite, steht auf seinem Schild. White and black, die Schranken weg, und ging ganz allein. Dienstag, ein Tag in Eisenbahnzug, fragte William Elmore. Manch einer nach dem Schild, das trug, und wünscht ihm Glück für die Tour. Black and white, unite, unite, steht auf seinem Schild. White and black, die Schranken weg, und ging ganz allein. Mittwoch in Alabama, ein Tag ging auf der Chaussee. Weit vor der Weg nach Birmingham, taten die Füße ihm weh. Black and white, unite, unite, steht auf seinem Schild. White and black, die Schranken weg, und ging ganz allein. Donnerstag hielt der Sheriff ihn an, sagte, du bist doch weiß. Sagte, was geht den Nigger dich an? Junge, bedenke den Preis. Black and white, unite, unite, steht auf seinem Schild. White and black, die Schranken weg, und ging ganz allein. Freitag lief ihm ein Hund hinterher, wurde sein guter Freund. Abend schon traf Steine sie schwer, sie gingen weiter zu zweit. Black and white, unite, unite, schrieb auf ein Schild. White and black, die Schranken weg, und ging ganz allein. Sonnabend, ein Tag war furchtbar heiß, kam eine weiße Frau, gab ihm einen Drink und heimlich sprach sie, ich denk wie sie ganz genau. Black and white, unite, unite, steht auf seinem Schild. White and black, die Schranken weg, und ging ganz allein. Sonntag, ein blauer Sommertag, lag im grünen Gras. Blühten 3 rote Nelken, blutrot auf seiner Stirn, so blass. Black and white, unite, unite, steht auf seinem Schild. White and black, die Schranken weg, und starb ganz allein. Und bleibt nicht allein. There it is with bad notes in the middle.
Hey, that's the nicest German I've heard pronounced.
Uh-huh.
I think German improves with a Dixie accent.
Oh, no, I hope I don't have a Dixie accent, and that is a German one.
Well, John, what you
I
going to
got an
say?
American one.
Well, I'm not going to do very much singing, but
How about spike liner, spike drivers?
Okay, but I just have
I
another
know that
look.
if my son was watching this program, that's what he would want you to play. He played it last summer over and over and over, trying to learn which string was playing which note. And if he was watching this, his eyes would be on your right hand, now wondering, what string is he going to play those notes on?
Sure, this is bike driver, John Henry. He was known to drive more spikes. Yeah, man, and then 2 men. Well, I just don't know why he could drive more spikes than 2 men. He was double jointed.
Double jointed.
Double jointed. He had the hammer in each hand. Okay, the rail, you know, just like this. I said, this table, yeah, this, grab it, that's the rail. We get the spike set. I'm standing on this side driving this spike. You facing me driving that one, see? You got a hammer and I got one. You driving these spikes down. Okay. Was not so with John Henry. He set 2 spikes for himself and stand straddle that rail.
All right.
And he'd hit the double lick, you know. Bam, 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 bam. Like I hit these strings. Here's the way to hit 'em. John Henry was a steel driving man. Yes, he went down. Well, he went down. You know, I really heard the first thing I got was John Henry's hammer. You just take this hammer and carry it to my captain. Oh, tell him I'm gone. Won't you tell him I'm gone? John Henry, he left his hammer plain side the road. Plain side the road. John Henry, he left his hammer all painted in red, all painted in red. You just take this hammer and carry it to my captain. Yes, tell him I'm gone. Won't you tell him I'm gone? This is the hammer that killed John Henry. But it won't kill me. No, it won't kill me. I walked all the way from East Colorado. Honey, that's my home. Well, that's my home. That's why I'm gone. You just take this hammer and carry it to my captain. Oh, tell him I'm gone. Won't you tell him I'm gone?
still true. Songs will go where people can't. Paul, we got time for about 2.5 more songs. And I thought maybe if we would back you up in some old-time songs, then, John, we might back you up in a song. Do you know some reels or hornpipes or jigs?
Well, some old-fashioned ones that everybody knows, I guess, like Golden Slipper, Flop-eared Mule, Little Brown Jug.
What key do we start in?
Start in G.
Oh, all right, we're with you. Too short still. I feel like I want to be a square dancer and you just keep on going for half an hour. I don't know. The trouble with these shows, they're always too short for me because just about the time you get warmed up and get acquainted with people and got to switch the machine off and go on to something else, spy show or the bullfights or something. But I think there's kind of a lesson here that I always loved it when I heard any of you at the Newport Folk Festival, there with all the different kinds of music, each person doing what they liked and they knew they could do best. And it seemed to me this was the most sensible way for the whole world. Here, Paul Cadwell raised up north, Mississippi John Hurt raised down south, Hedy starting off from Georgia and now traveling to Europe, and me, I'm stopping traveling. I'm not traveling much. I read in a book a while ago, a woman wrote, she said, this going to the moon isn't really so far. A man has so much further to go inside himself. And I don't think I'm going to travel as much as I used to. But I like it when 4 people of different backgrounds can all sit down together and play some music. And if it's a little bit different than we're used to, why, we can learn, we can latch on. For example, now, you play an old tune of Leadbelly's, right? Good Night, Irene. But you play in a little different rhythm that I'm used to. You start it off, and maybe we can fall in behind you. John, we got time. Tell a little bit about how you first made a record way back in 1927. You remember?
Yeah, 28, well, pardon me, and 29. To learn to play guitar, I had no teaching. I might say it. Well, I'll say it like this. In a way, I kind of stole music in a way. There was gentlemen, there was school near my home I didn't have, but just a little place to go to school. And this school teacher, lady, Miss Belle Simmons, and this gentleman, he courted this lady and married her. And he would come up every weekend, Friday evening, he could play guitar. And he would come up and make a little music, you know. And so he lived a pretty good piece from his school. And after he got through talking with her and making music, why, he would come down to my mother's house and spend the night. And so he would play my mother some music. And I was just an 8-year-old boy. He played, he got tired, and he set his guitar down. And I would just, my chair just couldn't get right, you know. Things, you know. I know you're not. Record I'd pick up his guitar. Quite natural to make a little noise when you look around and says, son, don't do it. My mother speak up and said, put that man's guitar down. What are you doing? I said, yes, Mother, I put it down. Okay, well, I studied now. I'm going to play the guitar, and I'm going to play this guitar. Well, I studied me a sharp plan, I thought, which did work pretty good. Okay, I'd sit there and they'd talk bedtime, yeah. They go in the different rooms, go to bed. I'd go in and go to bed, but I wouldn't go to sleep. And late over in the night, first thing I would do, I would tip to my mother's room, though. She would, you know, just could hear her sleeping, you know. Put my head right upside down like that. She's sleeping. Then I go to this gentleman's room and just not hear him good. Say, oh, yeah. I tip like I'd get the guitar now. I kept on at that till I learned to play one number. And I said, wow. And it was a number that he was playing, you know. And when I learned to play that number, why, I didn't care who heard it then. And I never shall forget my mother came to the door, opened the door. This gentleman was named William Henry Carson. She looked, and she thought it was him. She looked, she saw me, she said, well, my Lord, says, I thought that was William Henry. I said, no, it's me, Mother. And I looked around, she was just standing there in the door. I said, Mother, I want you to buy me a guitar. She said, I hadn't got anything to buy you a guitar. So she told a white gentleman what she's watched for, you know. Told him about I had learned to play guitar. He says, well, Mary Jane, that's my mother's name. He says, why don't you buy him? She says, Mr. Kent, I hadn't got anything to buy him no guitar. He says, how do you know? She says, I know I hadn't got no money. He says, listen, Mary Jane, he says, so I got a guitar practical than you. That my son married off and left, and he told me that I could have it. I can't play no guitar. And he told me that I could have it to sell it to do anything I want to with it.
Oh.
And says, I'll let you have the guitar for him for $1.50. And she bought it.
So, now we got just time for a couple of verses. We can try it out here. Start off.
Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I will see you in my dream. Sometimes I live in the country. Sometimes I live in town. Sometimes I take Great Ocean, jump in the river in town. Irene,
Good night.
Irene,
Good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. If I had the wings of an eagle, if I had the wings of a dove, if I had the wings of an eagle, I'd fly to the arms of my love.
Sing it with us.
Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene.
magic strand of rainbow design, of rainbow design. In it I'd weave the bravery of women giving birth. In it I'd weave the innocence of children over all the earth, children of all earth. Far over the waters I'd reach my magic band to every city, through every single land, through every land. Show my brothers and my sisters